skip this intro. So we got a remake of an Arnold Schwarzenegger classic. Edgar Wright, the guy behind Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, is directing. Okay, you got my interest. Supposedly this one is based a little more on the book. Okay, that's interesting. You got Josh Brolin as the bad guy. All right, you got my $10. I'm going to see Running Man 2025. But does being based on the book mean it's more interesting? Meh, kinda. You're going to get to see more of the Running Man world and like what led up to this situation where people are so desperate and they want to be part of this game show where they risk their lives. You're going to see the guy's family and you're going to see why he's motivated to get into this game. But you know what? It's like, do you really need that? What you want is the Running Man game show. That's the interesting part. You want to get right into that. Like Bon Jovi says, don't bore us, get to the chorus. So this time around, instead of being locked in some dungeon running away from bad guys, you're launched all across America. Except you're the most wanted guy in America. You're the most filmed guy in America. What do? All you can do is hope to survive. And on top of that, you're saddled with this little video camera looking thing. You have to record out a video of you every day and somehow mail it out every day. It's like, okay, let alone you've got everybody tracking you and shooting at you. Oh, you got to find a spot to record something and manage to find a mailbox. So you can't just go hide in a cave. You have to ship out packages every day. So in the old one, you had this like Mortal Kombat lineup of villains. I remember there was a Fireball, there was a Sub-Zero, there was this fat guy who was an opera singer looking guy. You had like, they were almost like villains back in that old Nintendo game Mega Man. Everyone had like they had an archetype. They had something very specific about them. And in this one, they lack any flair. You have like this goon squad of generic guys, like, you know, so when he kills one of them, it's like, oh, okay, I guess he killed Roy. Like, who cares? And they do have one guy, the head guy, I think he was called Chief something or other. It's like, okay, he wears this kind of blank mask and looks like a commando. I wish they had stepped more into the flair, you know, like, because again, this is a TV show. You're supposed to have shtick. You're supposed to have like outrageous looks. I mean, this lacked that. I get they were trying to go for realism, but I don't know. I'm watching a movie. I prefer something a little more outrageous. In my mind, this new version kind of clocks in like the remake of Total Recall that they had with Colin Farrell like 3 or 4 years ago. Do you remember that one? No, you don't. It tried to be different, and it did, you know, a decent job. I do remember some parts of it, like where they went through the earth and that shit. But like, you remember the Arnold one. You're a fan. You're going to go back and watch the Arnold one. And that's kind of where this falls into. It's good. It's entertaining. I'm not going to say go out and rush to see it. You can watch it when it streams. You know, I love Edgar Wright. That guy's a good fucking filmmaker. But this one is just kind of meh, you know. Plus, the ending of this movie was confusing. They used some like editing tricks and warps in time. I don't know. It made me wonder exactly what was going on. In the end, if you're curious, wait for streaming. Out now on HBO, there's a movie called Eddington. I missed it in the theaters, and now we're going to check it out. How do you feel about dark comedies that are so dark, you start to wonder, is this funny? The director of this movie is Ari Aster. He's got some stone cold classics in horror movies, Hereditary and Midsommar. I love both those. So I'm willing to give him a lot of rope to see what he's going to do. And I think in this movie, this is sort of his homage to the Coen brothers. The warning here is that the first hour of this movie really pissed me off. It drops you into 2020. It's the heart of COVID, so we're talking masks, 6 feet apart. We got people spouting conspiracy theories. It's all the worst parts of what we just lived through. I did not want to be revisiting that section of my life or yours that quickly. The joke here, though, is that this is really like a podunk, small Western town. So there's a lot of kids in this movie who are like randomly in the background protesting, like, defund the police. And meanwhile, poor Joaquin Phoenix, who's the sheriff, is like, we have 3 police officers in this town. What are you going to defund? And there's people just yelling literally not listening to each other. This is like what takes you back to 2020 is they're just shouting these lines at each other like, you're this, you're that, liberal, blah, blah, blah. And I hated that part of the movie. So yeah, you've got Joaquin Phoenix as this kind of dumb sheriff of the town, and his rival is Pedro Pascal, who's like kind of the smarty pants mayor of the town. They both hate each other and they take digs at each other, blah, blah, blah. So like I said, I hated the first hour of this movie, but there's a point halfway through when you get into that second half of the movie, that second hour, where it really like lights off. And I'm like, here's where the movie starts. I don't want to spoil it for you. It's the death of a character. That's when things finally get interesting. So what happens is you get like the two guys starting like a campaign war against each other, which slowly but surely like results in a real war, like a literal fucking war in the streets. And along the way, Joaquin Phoenix gets the most horrible case of COVID-19 ever. He gets in a fight with his wife, Emma Stone's in this movie. She's causing problems too. It starts to get wild. So what I thought was going to turn out to be like some sort of lame remake version of that campaign movie that came out with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis years ago, it is nothing like that. What happens in the last 20 minutes of this movie, it is worth it to watch it for the sheer gunfight that goes on in the last 20 minutes of this movie. You will see Joaquin Phoenix really get he's getting his ass kicked. He's running around in the streets. He's breaking into a gun store. It gets wild. But the trigger warning is, at the end of this movie, you are going to see Joaquin Phoenix's dick, whether you want to or not, and there is no avoiding it. It is right there. So that's just a trigger warning for you. But the second half of this movie is so worthwhile that just put up with the bullshit at the beginning. I realize you're just trying to be subversive, and maybe for me it's a little too soon for that to have happened, but it is worth it. You have to trudge through this first part to get to the second part, which will make you happy. It's streaming, so you don't have to go to the movie theater and spend any money. It's on HBO. I think at the very least you put it on the background and you'll know the point when you have to start paying attention. Here's a throwback review from my dad. The Hunley. My dad is obsessed with the Civil War, by the way, so he's probably seen this one already. The director, John Gray, actually wrote 107 episodes of The Ghost Whisperer, bulk of the series. So you got a Civil War tale about either the first or one of the first submarines. And they're trying to recruit these guys to get on this submarine, this newfangled submarine, and go sink some ships. But nobody wants on it because, oops, the Hunley, the ship, has already killed its first two crews. It sank and they keep dredging it up. So obviously nobody wants to get on this thing. But the South needs some sort of weapon. They're getting their ass handed to them in Charleston. It is getting absolutely shelled by a blockade of Union ships. And they actually do a really good job of showing just how hard they're getting their ass kicked in Charleston. There's a great scene where Armand Desante, who's one of the main characters, Lieutenant Dixon in here, he's at a bar. This bartender is handing him whiskey, and a cannonball comes right from goes through the bartender. It's just like boom, and you're like, everybody in the bar's like, oh no, next round of shelling, everybody run. So Armand Desante is running around trying to get a crew of anybody he can to he believes in the Hunley. He says, I can sink ships with this. So, and Donald Sutherland is in this too. He's General Beauregard, and his part in the movie is he seems to be more interested in hitting on women as he rides his horse in a funeral procession down the street than anything to do with the Hunley. Like, he just doesn't want to look bad. He doesn't want to take the fall for Charleston getting its ass kicked. He's looking to, he's a general. He's looking to turn things around. But it seems like he doesn't want to look bad. And Armand is out doing the actual work. He's getting together a crew of like stereotypes to get in this submarine. We've got there's a guy who's like the educated psychopath. We got the hard fighting, hard drinking Irishman. We've got a underage kid who doesn't know shit, but he's like super, I want to go fight. So he's dragging all these guys into the Hunley and, hoping things to work out. So this thing is not like a submarine like you would think it is. This is more like a septic tank with a propeller attached. It doesn't even run on any kind of fuel. The fuel is hand pumps. Like, the guys are literally like you know, it's like a sitting bike. They're just cranking this thing all along. Imagine like, oh, the ship's 3 hours away. Have fun cranking this thing and breathing dirty air and pissing in a pot. It's no fun. This is not a submarine like you think it is. In fact, the crew almost dies when they're just testing to see like how much air is in the sub. Like they take it to the bottom and they're like, all right, we're going to sit here and then figure out like, you know, how long we could hide. They almost died doing that. They don't even have a torpedo, which is like the most common thing you would think of with a submarine. Nope. They're like bombs, other than like throwing mines out into the water to float around. Their torpedo is like they have to ram the ship. The torpedo kind of sticks in the hull of the ship like a harpoon, and then you pedal away with the ship. You get it, it goes away from the ship, and it has like a rope ripcord so that when the cord runs out, it blows up. Like, who thought that was a good idea? Because, you know, anything underwater has a shockwave. And you know what shockwaves do? They sink submarines. I honestly was pretty surprised by this movie. It's a TV movie, and it's very professionally done. It was, you know, for a TV movie, this from the 90s, it was shot in widescreen. It has the battle scenes, the short like battle on land scenes they have are very thrilling. They did a great job of using color scenes and black and white to convey like, you know, drama scenes. Seeing the city of Charleston like blow up. I don't know how they did that. They must have had a huge backlot somewhere to just blow up what looked like a city. It's all very impressive. So it kind of, it's up there in good TV movies with the likes of like the Tuskegee Airmen or Memphis Belle. Remember that from HBO? Those like made for TV movies. It's that impressive. And it's on Tubi, so you can see it for free. And when I did look it up, I saw that there was a second Hunley movie made in 2022 called Submerged, the Hunley. I didn't watch that movie, but I did watch a trailer for it. It looked bad. I don't want to shit on sorry, whoever made that movie. It looked like you made it for about $55. I'll have to maybe tune in at a later date to see if that's worthwhile. After seeing the quality of this movie, you will see the trailer for the 2022 one, and you will wonder what happened. Hey, thanks for coming by. Thanks for watching Quiet Corner TV, Red Hood Movie Reviews. You keep coming back, I'll keep watching, and I'll keep talking. Talk to you later.